Greetings, internet peoples. So I've recently been messing about with an IBM 390 and I thought we'd have a little look at something interesting as I've pulled it out. For those who are wondering, this is an Intel Pentium 2 MMX running at 233 MHz and it's on a processor card known as socket MMC-1. Now, there's a lot of things flying about online about the thermal efficiency of these things and the fact that they have thermal pads on them. To be honest, I've seen a few MMC type CPUs, and I've got to be honest, I have never seen one with thermal pads, which also includes this one and the replacement 300 MHz Pentium 2 MMX that I put into the IBM 390. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get into one of these and how to change the thermal compound. Now, when I take this apart, I will just say in advance, I'm not going to replace the thermal compound. I'm going to clean it off, but I'm not going to apply any fresh because I have absolutely no need for this CPU and I have no need to apply fresh compound. If I was going to sell it, then before I sell it, I would apply fresh compound, but just for this video I'm not going to bother because I seem to have very little, if I can find it, there it is, of my Arctic Silver 5 left. I've actually got some more on order, but that's not enough for me, so I don't want to be wasting it by putting it on here. So how do we get in this? Well, let's take it out the packet first of all and let's have a little look at the thing. So what we have is we have the Pentium 2 underneath here. We also have the AGP set here. There's various power circuitry on there. If we flip it over, we've got the cache and whatnot on the back, and there's the MMC type connector. So how do we get into it? Well, would you believe the only tool that you're going to need is something like a set of pliers like this. It doesn't have to be this shape, could be different shapes, but this will do just nicely for what we're going to do. Now, if we have a little look, you will see that there's some rivets there that go through the card. We don't need to worry about those. If we flip the card over, you can just about see these are the anti-tamper devices that have been put in. In fact, if I bring that up there, you can see what that looks like. But it seems that these have almost like a key type situation going on. So what we're going to do is over here you can see that there is a piece of metal that's been folded round. I think people are going to know where we're going with this, and what we're going to do very carefully, which as you can see it does sort of protrude there, so you don't really have to touch the actual silicon itself, although I probably will. We're going to bend that back out just like that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to lift it. We're going to do this very carefully. See if I can get this on camera properly, and it's already come away. So there it is. We're going to try and undo that last bit, but what we'll do is we'll swing it round. That is a lot of thermal compound, and then we're going to give it a wiggle until it pops off. Now when you've done this, you may notice that the metal, although I think I've done this and it hasn't, but the metal may slightly bend. You can just bend that back into shape, but there we are. So that's a ridiculous amount of compound, to be quite honest. It's all over my fingers and everything. But the compound is actually still wet. After like 20 odd years, it's still wet. I mean, fair play. They designed it so that it wouldn't have a thermal problem, I suppose. But I mean, that's just way too much compound. That really is. So after we have done what we've done, we're going to clean it up. Now I've got some 99%, well 99.9% isopropyl alcohol, so I'm just going to get a little bit of that on some kitchen paper, because I'm not going to bother ruining a microfiber cloth or anything. So just a quick dab on there. We'll put a little bit on because I think we're going to need quite a bit, and then obviously just wipe away and remove the excess compound. Now that's already quite a bit of compound. In fact, round the edges of the CPU it has actually gone hard, and it is coming away fairly reasonably. I'm not going to make a great job of this because, as I say, this is mostly just for demonstration reasons more than anything else, but let's at least try and clean the CPU off. There's a ball of compound there, which is always pleasant. Let's smush that into the bag and move it away. Next we'll clean off the AGP set here. I cannot believe how wet that compound is. That's insane. The Pentium 2 300 megahertz that I've put into the IBM 390 had the same type of compound, but it didn't have anywhere near as much as this. So I'll go around that with a Q-tip and whatnot to clean it up when I've finished this video. But there we are. If you want to see what an exposed Pentium 2 on a MMC-1 card looks like, well, there it is for your viewing pleasure. Now, to put it back together, fortunately all of this assembly is sort of keyed. You can't really get it wrong, although I'm going to try, but here we are. So we have our captive screws, anti-tamper rivets, whatever you want to call them, and if you can see inside the metal, I'm hoping the camera will focus, you can just about make out that it is it's almost like a gear type situation in there. So when you put it back on, what you'll want to do is you'll want to put the end one on there first and just sort of push it down until it grips. Then it's just a case of the same with the middle, push it down till it grips like that. And then what you'll want to do, which I'm not going to do right now because I need to clean all that back off again, is you'll then just want to bend that little tab back round to secure it. And that is how you change the thermal paste. And if there is ones out there with pads, you could do that as well. But that's how you change the thermal paste on a socket MMC-1 CPU. So, hope you enjoyed. I have many videos coming up. I apologise for my absence. And you can follow bits and pieces that I do on the Retro Machines Facebook group, which I'll put a link to in the bottom. Thank you very much for watching. Comment, subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one.